Okay, morning everybody. Today is Wednesday, July 29th, FOMC Day. Before we get started here, disclosures and disclaimers. Doing the stream for educational, informational purposes only. Nothing here discussed is considered financial advice, investment advice, or solicitation of an offer to buy or sell stocks, options, etc. Futures, we're doing here today, contains substantial risk and is not suitable for everybody. You can lose more money than you initially invest. And everything I'm trading here is pretty much hypothetical and sim, because I'm trading one sim funded account and 4 sim evals. So keep that in mind. And the end goal here is for anybody to be who is watching that they will look what works for me. And they're also looking at other people as well and see what works for them. And then they synthesize all of that information and then they create their own unique edge that is unique to their personality and their needs and their trading style. So with that out of the way, let's get into the market. Wow, we had a nice sell-off here. Well, anyway, let's get some context here first before I jump into this. It seems like a lot of the moves are happening in the pre-market of recent, unfortunately. And if we look at what's happening here on the daily for ES, we've had this wonderful ramp up since April of last year, like 20%, 1,200 points. And now we've kind of been in this kind of pattern here where we're ranging for the last 2 months, 2 calendar months, 30 plus trading days here in this 400 point range. And we seem to be having this, well, for a while there, it was an ascending wedge, and now we're kind of testing this lower range here again. And we did have this level here that I was watching previous, that it seems interesting that we are testing this area once, twice. This is 7492, 3, 4, 5 times we tested that level and closed. Well, I should say 4 times we closed at that level and closed above. And then that inverse started happening where we started closing below it. 1, 2, 3, and now we're on our 4th day in a row where we are testing this level at 7492. And so far, we're finding resistance. So this might be an instance where we have previous support turns into resistance. If we look at NQ, it's kind of a similar story, a little bit different, but not looking promising for bulls, at least. It's a little more damning, in fact. Look at that same time period. We had a similar kind of run up, actually like 30+%, 7,800 points. And there was this level here where we were testing, stemming back from June 9th, where we had a test of 28,520. We tested that once, twice, 3, 4 times and held that level on each test. We closed above in the RTH session. Or in the full session, right? These are full. But now we're seeing an inverse happening where we're testing that once a couple days ago, and now we're closing below that 28,520. So it looks a bit challenging for bulls, and NQ appears to be the weaker of the instruments. For NQ, I mean, the next downside level we're seeing is down at 27,156, which was that previous higher high on the daily. Now we do have FOMC today, and we had 2 o'clock Eastern federal funds rate FOMC statement, and then followed after that at 2:30 Eastern with the statement. And sometimes the Fed funds rate release isn't going to add as much unpredictability as the press conference, because there may be just one sentence or phrase that is touch base on that could send things sideways. So if you're in a pro account on most of the prop firms, you're not allowed to trade or hold a position into FOMC. And just a general rule of thumb, I don't hold anything into FOMC, and typically don't even trade that until the press conference debris settles down. I think I'm actually going to be away from my desk this afternoon, so I won't even be able to trade anything at that time anyways. So that'll probably be a blessing in disguise. Let's go down to the 10-minute now on the charts. On NQ, we see we have, is this true here? Let me bring up the values here. See, in NQ, we have the these mislabeled wrong. That's why. Okay, hold on a second here. Okay, value area low on the 5-day aggregate for NQ. So right around here, and then value area high sitting up here at 28,722. We see we have clear price migration on NQ to the downside. We're establishing lower point of control on each of the last, 5 days, in fact. So that's pretty ugly. And right now we see price trading right around this. Yeah, we're down here at this previous day. See a value area high here, potentially below it. And bring up the let's see, full session for NQ. This is RTH, so yeah, the value area high is right around 20,059. So we test that area up here in the pre-market and it bounced down. On ES, a little bit of a different story. We've had certainly a trend to the downside, but we're kind of getting caught up in this coil at this area here where I was showing previously, where we had support, support, support. Now it's resistance, resistance, resistance. We do have point of control migrate up yesterday as we're testing this upper range, but and we see we tested this area Tuesday, Wednesday, which is today. So like this area, this trend line, we keep bouncing off it and putting in some. At this point, we did put a higher high in here. We broke above this, but now we put in a lower low, and now we're putting a lower high. So my first inclination is we're gonna look at selling the pops before FOMC. But that's before talking to Joy on this. Let's get her fired up on a pre-market plan. Hey Joy, give me a pre-market plan for ES and NQ. keep in mind, we have FOMC news today at 2 Eastern with a press conference 30 minutes after that. And Joy should know that, but I'll just give her a reminder just in case. Myself, I started the funded account last week, and it's been like a rough week of trading. I just not been able to hit anything, and initially because I was trading a more, I would say, optimized version of what worked for me during the eval phase, and that did not work for me at all. And I think part of it was because I was allowed to lose twice as much on the daily after doing some optimization with AI analysis of my trades. And I think that gave me more trades to take during the day and just started getting me to a state of over trading. So I am going back to what worked for me during the eval phase, but still yet to recover. I feel like I need to get my mind straight. So look at why. Oh, she's asking me questions. That's right. These aren't the ones working either too well. I have Joy ask me questions so it gets logged in the trading journal afterwards, but that's not quite working yet. I'm kind of losing my interest in doing some of these questions here, but hopefully I can get those resolved and I get some bandwidth to look at this a little more deeply. Sleep quality, I would say feeling pretty good so far. Yeah, we had a nice little velocity uptick here as well, right? Just kind of pushed us right through. So we just came into the supply, failed this, and came on down. Huh. It was kind of the move I was hoping for, potentially the opening bell. So now, let's see what Joy gives us. Stress level today. It's about 3 out of 5. Readiness, headspace. I've actually been staring at the charts for a while here. Or at my computer here for probably the last 3+ hours. Oh, wonderful. Okay, well that's not gonna help. Actually, thanks. Just want to observe here on the RTH session on ES. We have this P shape here. If you bring this out a little further, yeah, a clear high volume node here, pointing control, which we just passed under, and the stem here. You can see that as well pretty clearly on here. We tried establishing value up above here in these tails, but getting stuffed. On NQ in the RTH session, it's a little less obvious, but we do have, again, the point of control is up at this level, which we are falling underneath. Today's focus is definitely patience and take trades outside of the valley area. And Also, be mindful, I would say, of the higher level time frame structure and know where higher highs and higher lows are and kind of understand the direction market is going along with the associated supply and demand. So I'm not taking trades in the middle because it looks good in the moment, which I think has been my weakness over the last week. I'm also looking to do a better job journaling my trades, as I think I'm not doing that as well as I could due to being busy and also resolving tech issues on this application. So I'm looking for other ways to possibly do that and revert to some old ways of journaling for now manually until we get everything working on this side. Right now, you're pretty valuable in the pre-market planning and market context, but the journaling aspect needs some work yet. I guess probably a little more that she was looking for. So looking at this, we've got cumulative delta has been pretty red in the full session so far. Our ATR so far has been about, wow, we've done like 75% of the range already. So there might not be much meat on the bones outside of the ranges. And given that we had this break here, creating a higher high, but then a lower low, and kind of changing now the structure now to lower high. I'm wondering if we're going to test down this area at the previous valley area low, which puts us right down here where we saw in the pre-market. We had absorption of sellers, really strong selling here that recovered and formed some supply in the pre-market off of the previous valley area low, which aligns with the 5-day RTH point of control and this trend line, which you look at that again on the daily. That's trend line goes all the way back to April 23rd. So you tested that wick, this wick, just down below this, and now we are testing it 3 times. Looks like even a 4th time today. So I would frame our current situation, if you're a bull, as precarious. Okay, what does Joey got here for us? Risky primary constraint for FOMC. We got elevated volume. She's got the ranges actually compressed, actually inverted here. Oh, interesting. Actually, it's not true. NQ. That is true, yeah. These are... One note, your range looks inverted for the percentage. I'm seeing a range on NQ so far of 538 points. And for ES, I'm seeing a range of 62 points so far. So I think your percentages are actually flipped. And if we have elevated volume and we've done over 50% of the full ATR already, there may not be much meat on the bones outside of those ranges, especially given FOMCs later today, but I'm curious to hear your thoughts. If this is correct, please recheck your values. I prefer if you wouldn't show the percentage here of the ATR and actually show the points. Same thing with the volume. Market opens about 8 minutes. Yeah, so holding pattern might be a little choppy today since we've done all the work in the pre-market here. Warren MT, hope you're having a good one. Pairing here for an FOMC day on a day where we've had a lot of ATR gobbled up already. Even if we do have higher volume here, a couple hours preceding the release, we're probably going to have a compressed range going into FOMC. And this is interesting to note, with the elevated overnight volume suggests that high institutional positioning ahead of the news. So they've already got their positions. They've in a sense set up the chessboard for us, of course, and it favors them. So let's just keep that in mind, that they've been working all night here to set up the chessboard. We closed here, in this area here, and now we've had this range here that they've kind of set the pieces up on their chessboard here for us to enter now in the cash market. So just be careful and mindful of that. People are positioned before the FOMC. Let's double check here our values from Joy. Uh, 7501. Yep, for overnight high. And overnight low, 7438. Correct. Okay, so we're looking with the correct values. POC, 7469.50. Yep, dead on. How about value area high, 7485. Correct. Great. 5-day composite, 7447. She got a little, where is here? It's, yeah, pretty much the same. Okay, and I trust Joy's values more than I trust TradingView on that. So, like, seem like, man, I would not be surprised if this is test here at some point today. There's so many different levels here between the 5-day POC, value area low, this trend line that goes back to April, the -2 VWAP, and the overnight low. There is a monster amount of confluence of signals there. And then you look at even going back here, we have the opening range high, which we're at that right now. So we're bouncing right off the opening range, which we saw. Well, that's interesting. We tested and held that. We're above it, fell underneath it, but tested again, held it, and now we appear to be testing again and holding it. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, news assessment. We talked about that. Gap analysis. Small gap, even though we had large range. Medium gap and NQ, but again, we had a significant range. ES and NQ are trading below the overnight POCs. Is that true? Yeah, that is true. See, here's the full session volume profile. So yeah, we're below the POC here from the overnight. Five-day migration, falling, actively moving lower. Definitely a bearish bias. Look for short entries on pops that show buyer absorption. Dun, 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 dun. Wait, what? Apparently there's an earthquake in Japan. Okay. Wait, she gives us actually scenarios here. What are our scenarios here? There we go. Okay, they're in here. Short resistance fade at previous day high. Yeah, I would say that's probably a valid short. I mean, there's 3 levels here that are great for a short. Up here we have the value area high, the high day, and we got this trend line here as well. So there's I guess -1, +1 VWAP. Short rejection off the POC. Okay, starts in 2 minutes here. 2 minutes until opening bell. Let's see if we get this out of the gate. And long off a previous day value area low, which is, I mean, this is tons. Yeah, confluence down here. So we might have a couple scenarios that pop here right in the open. And reversal of net low. Agreed. Okay, I love all these levels. I talked about these as well in the pre-market plan. Let's approve it. And Joey will start recording the audio that gets put into my journal automatically, which is supposed to happen. It's been a bit wonky and buggy. Have not quite got that nailed down yet, but keep on trying it and debugging it. Let's get this here. Okay, so we're looking for, oh, look at we got, and POC is rated VWAP. Okay, so we get a push to the downside or upside? What's it going to be? Looks like to the downside. Look for play off of the val. Touched it. What's going on over here? Potential buyers being, well, they're strong buyers here out of the opening. Not observing any clear order flow signals that would want to get in, to force me to get into this. To the downside, at least. I mean, for a play off this. Oh, there's got some buyer imbalance here, so they're trying, but it's cumulative deltas right across the board here. I would say it looks pretty strong for a move for the overnight low here. ATR is set to the, I mean, stop loss set to ATR. Just gonna get my targets here, and what are we saying here off the overnight low here? No, maybe holding a value area low here. Get some buying here. Market's only open for 2 minutes here, so I'm not gonna get without any clear signals for a break to the upside. Just trying. A nice little B shape here and some buying and balance that we went down below and recaptured that. I'd rather not take any longs here. We're making kind of lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high. So we had as low as here. Well, we did hit supply, but in this kind of, the demand zone here, down here below. I feel like this environment, there's a higher probability for shorts working out. So I'm more interested in this POC up here. You see in the pre-market here, we had some really strong selling here underneath VWAP and the previous day close and the previous overnight high. Which aligns with what we're seeing here as a potential entry to the upside. Let's see if we get up here. Okay, we got absorbed sellers here, buyers rather. Got some big wicks here in the last 10-minute bars here. Previous 10-minute had a really strong wick to the upside. Now we're seeing that to the downside as we touch this trend line here. NQ is rallying up. It's like VIX and oil are kind of pretty flat and ranging. Right now I'm looking either for a test of the overnight low down here at 7,440 about, or a test of the previous day POC from the RTH session. Got really strong green here on 515 and RTH, but sometimes that could be means we're absorbing aggressive buyers, which we might be observing here. You see absorption of buyers 210 and absorption of sellers here as well. And there was some strong selling imbalance as we got into our developing value area high. Looking at the 30-minute bars, we see there's like really strong buying here, massive sell imbalances. We formed some buy imbalances, but weren't able to get above that stacked imbalance zone here. And now we're observing right now, buyers are getting stuffed in the opening 30-minute. I'm looking for a test either down towards this area, -2 VWAP overnight low, or up here at VWAP, which is around the previous day point of control, previous day overnight high, previous day close, and a stacked seller imbalance. We get all these sellers here that stepped in previously. Could possibly be there again. We could get a little head fake above all this buyer aggression that failed previously and have that scenario replay out here. Right now, we're at the developing point of control, so this is not a good place for me to get into. See, we're holding this opening range high from the previous day so far, but it's proven to be, I guess, an area that's not super strong because we see these buyers stepped in here previously trying to move price above and failed, and they stepped in again pretty strongly. Now we're seeing sellers starting to give an echo back to that. And NQ, wow, that is one hell of a 10-minute bar. Look at those wicks to either side. FOMC, so not surprised to see the chop, especially given how the markets moved the overnight session, where we had, a strong range here in the overnight. Had a high up here above that trend line, low down here. So we've had a 60 plus point range in the overnight session, pretty much hitting 75% of a normal full session range ATR over the 14-day look back period. So we're not going to probably see as much probability for expansion outside of our highs and lows for today on the extended session, which is going to be 7439, 7500 on ES. Oh, we got some supply, new supply forming here. Kind of tempting to take a short here, but I'll wait to the levels we called out here, which is the POC 7469. See that here as well. If we go up there or over the overnight low. Pretty choppy though. First 10 minutes on NQ. Big wicks to the upside and downside. So we got aggressive buying and selling on both edges. Similar story on ES. Where we had a massive doji. You see is a larger wick to the downside, but that is really non-directional. Let's let the market get its wiggles out and kind of get its bearings. We've been open for about 10 minutes. Plenty of trades available for the day leading up to FOMC. And there's sure to be some volatility after FOMC. So if you missed anything here, which I don't think I did, but if you do feel that way, there's plenty of other opportunities. And historically, FOMC have not really, I don't think I have a strong record on FOMC days anyways, so I'm not going to try forcing trades on a day that historically has been a challenge for me. Do have an interesting kind of pattern showing up here though on ES. If you're a trendline trader, that's interesting. Good Lord, why? This is why TradingView is popular, right? Just, good Lord. find it hard to do anything on trade of it. Right at the point of control and the previously opening range high and the +1, -1 VWAP into the supply that's formed in the opening 10 minutes. If I was a gambling man, I'd say I would not want to be a bull right now. It'd be great to get a flush up the POC and VWAP area to this area and fail into supply. Since I'm a little predisposed to shorts today, if I had a bias, also checking other settings here from risk manager. Yeah, I'm only risking 75. I risk a max of 150 on the day, which is 10% of a 1,500 account on Take Profit Trader for a $25,000 buying power, which I don't pay any attention whatsoever to buying power. It's just nobody should be trading E-minis on a prop firm account, in my estimation. It just doesn't seem sustainable to be trading to that degree if you are only given a risk of 1,500 or 3,000, 6,000. Like, you should treat that, whatever your max loss is on a prop firm, should be considered your buying power, in my opinion. I understand why prop firms do that for marketing purposes, and also gives you more leverage in the overnight, I suppose, when there's higher requirements for trading in the overnight session outside of the cash session. But I think most of us are trading RTH anyways. Yeah, another pop here. Oh, look at this. Right into the developing value area high. Yeah, it's tempting to go take a short here, but I don't want to front run my desired pre-market plan scenario. Oh, it popped above that. Making a little push here. Above that little trend line that developed in the opening 15 minutes. Cumulative delta, green over the 14-day look-back period, 14-bar look-back period. Green on a 5, 15, and RTH, but we are negative on the full session. That might have been stuffed. Let's see what's going on here. Can they sustain this? Yeah, see if we get any pops into this above the value area higher probability for at least a scalp to the downside. If you're a scalper, which I am not. I can see that stuff, but I feel like I start playing that way and I get sloppy in my executions. I'm not first and foremost a scalper. I'd like to learn how to do that though. There's the drop. Yep, that was a little look above and drop below. So we might get our POC entry now. I mean our overnight low test here now. Let's see what we got. And profit target, if we do get in down here, 7450, which actually makes sense. I'll front run that value area low for the first profit target. I see our stop has moved further down is the ATR. Now it's at 743250. So the ATR on the 3-minute is setting my stop loss. I mean, Joy has a stop loss noted here of 7433, so I pretty much aligns with what Joy had. Looking at an entry around this overnight low, which we'll see if we sweep underneath this -2 VWAP and have any signals of traders getting stuff. Although this is actually right now, we are in an area where we could take a potential long here. This was part of the pre-market plan to get a long at this value area low here, right here. This is, we tested it here previously, but I don't feel like there's much runway, right? If you enter in at this point, you're just going into today's developing POC, into the supply, into the value area high. Like there's no runway for a long at this point. Your best bet is to come down here, grab some liquidity, and take that for a long if we see order flow. I'm going to take this off here because I don't think this is valid anymore. I don't care for that. I think today I'm going to lean a bit back into taking a starter on the first order flow signal I see. Yeah, look at this absorption. 1,300 buyer absorption on this current 30-minute opening bar. Oof. Got a delta here of 581. Right at POC around 74.50. Yes, it's dropping nicely. Look at that. Yep, I could have gone shorter off that supply. We're into, see, yeah, NQ is dropping pretty heavy here. Okay, overnight low. Zero prints. See if we cover the zero prints on the footprint here and absorb any sellers. Cleared out that zero print that was there for a moment. Not seeing strong order flow signals to get in on this yet. See, there's these large buyer delta percentages appearing. Oh, what's going on here? No, I want this long here. Okay, we flush below that overnight low. Is this going to recover? I see NQ is just dropping like a knife down to the previous day POC at 27,704. See if that bounces or not. Which also aligns with the -2 VWAP. Otherwise, we're going to be looking at the overnight low from what? Or this low here at Tuesday, 728, 74.19. What's that gonna? Yeah, we'll see how this plays out here. See, NQ's got a little further here to drop here, 27,704. Still not seeing any order flow signals to get in on this. So I'll try catching knives. I think ES actually is a bit weaker out of the two, interestingly enough. We've fallen below the previous day POC. NQ hasn't hit that yet. Buyers trying to step in here and get it back to the overnight, pre-market overnight low. NQ might be pulling back up here, not touching the previous day POC. Now, you see we got some buyers getting absorbed. Ooh, there's a nice little flush of seller imbalance to the downside. That's really nice. It's nice that we can recover that now. Like you see, this kind of flushes the get people out of position here, and then recover that. Okay, we cover the overnight low again or not? We got some stacked buying imbalance, trying to get that above that. We see cumulative delta is trying to turn green here. Getting above the 14-day look-back period, but not looking promising yet for bulls. You can touch this demand down here. Ooh, some more zero prints. Into that demand. And we have hit previous day POC now and -2 in VWAP, 27,705. Now, if we would reverse, this would be a great point for reversal. And we got zero print here and a stacked seller imbalance. I like to clear this out. If we get up to 7432 and show some momentum, that would be nice for a little starter. Okay, we got some stacked volume imbalances showing here. We got a buyer delta showing up here on this current bar. This is ugly though, so let's wait, get a little confirmation on this before taking this long, not just take a long blindly. Otherwise, to the downside, we have the previous day value area low on NQ down at 27,700. And I don't know, ES, we got what? The 5-day value area low at 74.21. See, there's a overnight low at 74.19 on from July 28th, I guess yesterday. And we've hit almost our full ATR range at this point. So, like, we've moved most of the range. So, there's really technically shouldn't see too much more to the downside movement here, especially on an FOMC day. But, you know, can always move further than you think. And dear God, I wish I got into that supply zone up here at 54.55. Absolute violence here out of the gate, which is kind of par for course here. Okay, we got some stacked buying imbalances here. This we need to clear this out here first, I feel, before we can entertain along here. We did come down to almost the 5-day value area low aggregate, close to this low on the opening 30 minutes from Tuesday, I guess yesterday. Yeah, Tuesday was only yesterday. Still a little lower to hit that yet. We didn't quite hit that low of 74.19. But we see NQ is starting to recover, it looks like, possibly over above the previous day POC. See if it can hold that as we go into, see, we have about 90 seconds left in the session here. Man, am I tempted here to take a starter? I am, because NQ is rising up here. And I'm at 74.28. I got to enter my value here. I'm taking this here. Wait, did I get in there? No. I hit bid. Shit. Come back down here. Okay, I should hit market. I didn't hit market. Okay, get on the market on this. Of course. As soon as I mark it into this after missing the bid entry, it jumps back down here. I'm going to put a stop right here. Okay, we get yellow dots here, some buying delta. Oop, there we go, some nice push through there. We got okay, there we go. There's our starter. Got strong buying imbalance here. Definitely pretty violent here. Let's see what happens when we get to overnight low. If we can capture that, then I'll take that up to point of control, 74.50 per the original plan. We have cumulative delta positive on 5.15 and RTH, but it is highly negative on the full session. I don't like how this is hanging out here. And I got potential absorbed buyers here. I'm gonna, and I'll just keep this here. I got this stop at a good point here. I don't want to get freaked out of a trade because it's so volatile right now. ATR in the 3 minutes about 7.5 points. See, cumulative delta has been positive since we came out of this demand zone here. So buyers are here. They're trying. But look at this line right here. Oh my God, 74.33. Like somebody is sitting on this, right? There we go. There we go. Nice buying and balance there. If they get stuffed on that, though, I'm not going to be a fan of that. I want to see this keep on proceeding to move green here. Cuba Delta is green on 20 tick. We had 1,100 absorbed buyers in that opening 30-minute range. Don't like how ES is struggle busting here. And I also don't like this little pop up here with buying imbalance that failed to move price higher. Like this right here. Not a fan of that stacked buying imbalance. And we're at the value area low here, but given we've moved almost the full range ATR already, it's a higher probability of moving to the upside, but it doesn't mean we can't slice down further to the downside and break below the overnight low from Tuesday. It could happen, or just the low a day rather. Was this low a day, overnight low? Yeah, that was low a day. Come on, we need to break this here. Break the structure. Let's try and peek this head above it. Looks like VIX is dropping. NQ is going up. There we go. Tested the overnight low. Okay, back to our original trade setup here. Overnight low. Is this going to be resistance now? At this point, I don't want this to go below 29. Maybe more conservative. I want it to be there. I could say 27, but man, this is getting stuffed. I might just move this to break even. I'm not liking the way this is moving here. That massive wick here was a potential stuffing on the overnight low. So I'm going to just protect capital, given I'm in a drawdown right now anyways. This might pop out of here, right? Yeah. I'll be able to get back into this. I just didn't like these wicks up here. And a fail at the overnight low means that could have been the next leg to the downside. Okay, so protected profits there, or capital at least, not profits. There's really no profits on that. Okay, we got some buying here. I'm going to see his buying and balance here. Put a stop in here. Okay, that's evaporating, isn't it? Okay, well, I guess I gave up. I saw some strong buyers here. And it might just be getting stuffed here. Unless I get ticked out here. Still see that B shape here. Looks like they're really trying here, but we do have now in the 30-minute. This is looking pretty ugly. Got a massive, kind of same scenario as this bar here that we had going into the open. We had a massive stacked imbalance with strong buying imbalance. Before moving down, we have now another large, thin probe to the downside with stacked seller imbalances down here, an attempt to move up, hit the overnight low, and a potential failure. Which makes me wonder, is 7-4, is this going to be further test of the downside? HVN test. Of course, there's like all kinds of Iran news right now. U.S. sanctions oil tankers over Iran ties. It's like just a nonstop. So we're testing our low day down at the 5-day val. Possibly testing the low day from Tuesday. Down at 74.17. Yeah, this, I don't have any levels down below this. I haven't loaded data for all that. So if we flush through these levels and hit the low day from Tuesday and Monday, you look at this, we have Monday and Tuesday low down here around 74.16. See this marked on the key level indicator here that I have. And we're right around the 5-day value area low. So we've tested this area twice this week and held it. Additionally, my thesis for being bullish here is we have done almost the entire full day ATR. And we're only 40 minutes into the RTH session. So there shouldn't be, from a probability standpoint, that much left for movement to the downside. But look at these last two bars. We've had 1,100 buyers absorbed. Now we're at 1,300 buyer absorption. And unless we can clear 74.33, looks like sellers are in control for the moment. See this high volume node in the current 30-minute. We got the POC right here around 74.32, which aligns with the developing POC here from across the full session. Seeing some absorbed buyers here showing up on this bar. Cumulative delta is positive the entire RTH session. So we're creating lower lows here on price, but cumulative delta is creating higher highs. So there is strong market buying here, but there's passive sellers just eating up all of that market participation for upside moves. Okay, we're hitting all of the lower days, just cutting right through these. Okay, this is the last stand. If this doesn't hold, this looks pretty ugly. We're then looking to hit maybe the June 26th low day, 73.57. We're testing right now. This Thursday, July 23rd, low day. If this breaks here, this is going to be looking for shorts off this overnight low here. Yeah, this is ugly. We're on NQ. We're cutting through the previous day value area low. Actually, we're just testing right now the overnight low on NQ. And over here, this is the daily chart. Bring up the 1 hour. So we have some context here in the more immediate term. I mean, we're outside of the 5-day range now. Tons of yellow dots here, which means we have larger participants taking these trades. We have the same amount of 1,000 volume with fewer number of orders. Got a little bit of a node here. See, we handle these values up here. Do we clear the previous day? Low day? Are we just grabbing some fresh liquidity outside of this 5-day range? ATR is now 15% above the full day ATR, and we've only been open for 45 minutes. And if it keeps dropping, that's going to be it's going to be definitely a move outside of the statistical probability. See buyers trying to step in here. We're forming a node, trying to take this up. We got stacked and balanced here. Give one more try here. With a stop below this here at 74.09. .09 right there. See this bar holds here. Just one contract. I'm just taking a nibble here based on the probability aspect of this. Like, we're really going to continue pushing outside of this on an FOMC day after we had this large range movement. Like, moving outside of that range where we've already expended most of our ATR. I mean, all of our ATR. So anything outside of this range now is going to be a continued expansion of that 14-day look-back period on the ATR. And that's my only reason for getting into this. There's a probability. There's really no order flow backing that up. I see, well, I thought totally true, actually. I see some stacked seller imbalance down here at 7407. And again at 7411. That didn't move price lower at that point, but we are at these, I guess I didn't realize I bought right at the low of day. It's only one contract, so If we start seeing anything like a stacked buying imbalance here that can't move price higher, then I would also get out on this. See some stacked buying imbalances appearing here for the moment. See this show up here as well. Flashed that and didn't move price above that. So now it makes me even more nervous for this, that we see buyers continually trying to move up. ATR on the 3-minute now is 9 points. I'm going to get out of this, I think. This is, if we can't clear this here. We do have these stacked buying and balance here. Typically not a trade I make. Then we pull out of the 5-day, the 5-day range. Yeah, okay, we got some buying and balance here. We need to clear this overnight low from previous day and these low days. At this point, I'm going to move this up to 10. One contract. Okay, geez, I can't see anything here with all the price here. Let's get this above here. Just because we did the full ATR doesn't mean we can't fail here on these previous day and really shit the bed, right? Come up here, test this, fail, and move on down to 73.57. We also have, I guess, this level here at 74.09. I'm getting out of this. Yep, this is just... We got buyers getting absorbed up here now. We got supply up here. See if we test this again here. But we had absorbed buyers here, and we're showing absorbed buyers on these two 30-minute bars. We need to clear this. If we get stuffed here, see NQ is below the previous day POC. We might be showing signs of buyer absorption here. Yep, just got some buyer absorption there. I'll take that potential short. This buyer absorption here. Above 19, so I do 20. Got absorbed buyers here at the overnight low. Got to stop 1 point above the overnight low. I feel like it can't go any lower, but it could, I guess, right? We could go down to 74. Well, we tested 74.09 already. And maybe I shouldn't reverse this, but I'm going to see if we clear this overnight low from the previous day. Like, we get a lot of low a day here. Buyers are trying to move it up here. 125 buyer delta. We're going to move this up here or not? Okay, so they're, yep, taking that out. Okay, well, I guess I just stayed in my original long here. Let's see if we get this pull back here to these lows and find... I mean, I don't know if it's even that strong. We got all the selling imbalance here from the previous bar. And we got a node right here at 74.32. I don't know if I feel too super confident here that this is still going to go up. We're showing more buyer absorption here at the overnight low right now. See, I don't know if we're even able to test the POC here. Buyer absorption, buyer absorption. We are making higher highs here, right? But this, and we're going into supply potentially. We see all these stacked selling imbalances here that previously this showed they were able to stuff buyers. So, you know, that 7429 area might be interesting. 7425, which we see right here. This supply zone here from the risk manager indicator. Now hold off here and see. Yeah, that does not look good. Okay, I took a sell ask entry. We have absorb buyers. We have stack seller imbalance, stack seller imbalance. And stop should be right above this, 21. I keep on thinking there's no way it can go lower, but it could. We're right at this Monday level here in the pre-market, it looks like. See, NQ is testing the low a day here. Again, I'm going to try just not letting trades go right on me here, if possible. I'm trying to preserve capital. Yeah, we did 215. Probably should give this opening range low a test, an opportunity here. I still like that we have NQ at that previous day low. Oh, it's failing it. Woof. Okay, what do we have on the plate here? Good Lord. We got massive zero prints here. Stacked seller imbalance. And at this point, I need to load like 45 days. Oh, we might have a reversal happening here. What's this, O2? I'm going to get this down to O2 here. This zero prints here. Yep. We got potential. There's a potential reversal here, just based on my indication. I think I'm finally a little blind here, though, because I don't have any of my order flow data going down at these levels here. So I don't have strong understanding of where we are order flow wise. 26. Yeah, I need to load like a lot of days, like 40 plus days here to get the order flow information at this level. Trading view just looks like a hot mess right now. I try to zoom out too far. I will mark this level here. We got a daily level. This is running up here, looks like. We got absorbed sellers on this last footprint. NQ, what's NQ doing? NQ's finding the recovery. Day key level. What is this here? 629. Oh, got some. Got some potential absorption of buyers there. Okay, I'm going to turn off. Okay, see how we handle this level here. We get back above 7409. Green, baby green on the day. Okay, Creed oil coming up in about a minute. We have clear lower highs and lower lows here, right? High, low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. Probably don't want to get long on this until we get above 7420. I mean, it's tempting to take a starter on this down here because of that seller absorption here on this footprint bar. We also have a strong selling delta here on that previous 30-minute bar at 7409. If it clears this and get past this node here, we could see a recovery on price. We got our full 60-minute range in. Okay, let's see what Joy's got. Whew. Hope everybody's doing okay out there. It's a fun one. Okay, Joy, we got our opening 60 minutes in. Tried a move off the overnight low, and it is moved down to the June 29th low day and beyond on ES. NQ, we are trading at the previous day, low day. Give me a read on potential moves here on today's market context. I'm surprised we have expanded the range now to 102 points on ES, which is like 25% above the normal range. It makes me inclined to play longs off of this low here, given we've expanded the probability of range here, especially in an FOMC session. Okay, so what Joy does here. I'm trying to run things past Joy to make sure I'm not coming across as crazy and share my thoughts. The higher probability move for a long probably is getting above this 7420 and seeing NQ recover the previous low day. Okay, what is she saying here? Gabriel, you have a significant structural break. You're surprised to justify the market has completely invalidated the pre-FOMC balance thesis by expanding range aggressively to the downside before news even hit. ES range, yeah, we already traded a full day's range in the first hour. And NQ, similar story. Yeah, we've traded the full range already, so there shouldn't be anything left here. Like but you know, the market can be irrational longer than we can stay solvent, so keep that in mind. Assessment of longs. You know the expansion makes you inclined to play longs. Here is the data-driven reality. Formula One upgrade. ES is upgraded from demolition to Formula One. This means the moves are high speed and prone to overextension. The meat is gone. By expanding past 100%, we have likely exhausted the majority of the normal selling pressure. However, the Formula One conditions, an overextended market can stay extended also known as irrational, much longer than usual. Structure, we are trading below previous day low. Entering long here is a mean reversion play against a very strong RTH trend. Undoubtedly. Reverse leg, if you take long, do not front run the level. You need to see seller absorption on the 1 minute footprint. Well, I mean, for fuck's sake, I had that back here on the 20 tick. Risk, currently liquidation. We are in a liquidation profile. The June 29th low you mentioned has been breached. Okay, wait for the 60-minute opening range close. We just closed first 60 minutes. The opening range low is now 7398 on ES and 27538 on NQ. These are your new tactical pivots. If you play long, your stop must be tight below today's RTH low, and your target should be returned to the previous day low, 7417, which we're almost there already. So that's probably, my spot of this here might have been a decent opportunity to get long, but I don't know. That looks like we just formed a lower high here. I don't see any order flow supporting that, but from a pure bare bones, bare metal observation, that's a lower high here. I don't see any order flow or even a key level indicating why I would have stopped there. We are short of the previous low day from Monday and Tuesday. If I were to get short, targeting the, here we go, supply. Well, damn. Supply just formed on the risk manager indicator. These are typically pretty dependable. I mean, really, if I would get short, I want to see a move up this level here, right? You want to probably retest the previous low day on ES. NQ is doing that right now. It's testing that previous low day. Yeah, my thesis of we've already done the 100% ATR on the 14-day look-back period in both ES and Q. You see on ES, we're 25% above the normal full day's ATR. Like how many points in a day does it normally move? It moves 82 points normally over the last 14 days, over the entire full session from the 6 Eastern open in the evening until that 5 o'clock close. So usually 82 points. We've done 102 points already, and we're only an hour into the cash session. So technically speaking, there's a lower probability of continued downward expansion. But that said, as Joy mentioned, somewhere, where she mentioned here, I thought she mentioned somewhere, there's a currently meat in the bones gone. Yeah, there's an overextended market can stay extended much longer than usual when we have these high violent conditions here, which the ATR is right now 9 points on the 3 minute. It's typically around 3, maybe 5. So the fact that we're 2x the ATR with volume currently 17% above what it normally is at this time of day on ES. Looks like NQ is failing the previous low day. What's it look like on the order flow? Yeah, it's looking pretty gross. Unless you're a bear, looks awesome. Which you shouldn't be anything, right? We're just traders, no bias. Really was hoping for a move up here to test this previous low day here. And then just a little wick here in the 1 minute. Old school. Sometimes the best school, right? So we had some strong resistance to the upside there. What's crazy is the RTH session. We're still positive 2,700 market order buy orders, market buy orders, and we've done nothing but flush to the downside. Even the RTH range, you look at RTH range, we're at the full 100%. Like we're 64.41 points normally over the last 14 days during the RTH cash session. We've done that already. So we've done 100% movement already in the RTH session. Could we have further downside expansion? Yeah, we could. The market can stay irrational longer than we can stay solvent. NQ is failing this previous low a day. On ES, see the last two 30-minute bars, the point of control has slowly moved to the downside. We got some significant volume here with a mix of buyers and sellers on the delta, but there's a large seller right here at 74.10, which appears to still be kind of pushing things down here. Okay, opening range low a day test. What's it going to be? NQ is falling below that. Got a large seller delta right at the opening range low, and it's failing so far. Well, actually failing. We see sellers, a lot of sellers here. Got some absorbed sellers here in the last 1,000. I'm not going to step in front of that freight train, but double bottom reversal. I don't know, maybe. We had absorbed sellers here that failed and moved down. We got absorbed sellers here again on this 20 tick range. Okay, we broke a bit below the opening range low, both on NQ and ES, and we're trading right around that range. Any thoughts on this? I do see some absorbed sellers on the wick below the opening range low on ES, and I see absorbed sellers on the last 20 tick footprint bar as well, but I don't know if I have any confidence taking this long here. It feels like a stepping in front of a freight train, in my opinion. I'd prefer to see price recover the previous day low around 7417 and that overnight low from the previous day at 7419 before we entertain longs. Plus, I see a lot of selling imbalance in the ranges from 7424 up to today's overnight low down up at 7438. Seems like we have a lot of headwinds for any movement to the upside here. We've been making continuous higher and lower highs and lower lows. Good Lord. I mean, this now looks like 7 357's in play, right? This looks just fugly. Headwinds, pivot, wick absorption, current action we're trading below, opening range low, expansion, headspace check. Yeah. What I feel is a more of a probability is we retest the low a day from Monday, June 29th at 7409, which maybe this move has happened already for move to the downside, or any, I guess, test up to that level or the opening range low for a potential move down to the lows we see from June 28th down to June 25th that range from 7368 to 7357. You have access to the database looking back here. So can you give me a read on this? I don't have my order flow loaded on the chart because there's way too much data to load on the chart going back that far. Okay. So using Joy here for a sanity check. She can see order flow detail. This is one thing. Like I would use TradeZella for this, but TradeZella doesn't have access to order flow data. Joy does. So she can give me a more accurate read in the way that we trade using footprint indicators and other order flow tools. Okay, she's pulled the historical session data for June. Spot on with the levels. Your feel for the chart matches structural history of the database. June 29th, session open. Implication. This is the lava beneath the current floor. If the market does not treat today's current low as a permanent sweep, the next mathematical destination is 7357, 7368 zone. Oh, we got a zero print here. A sign of exhaustion from sellers potentially. I wouldn't put too much weight into that, but I see as an observation, it is there. We're testing the opening range low. Move has happened. It has been exceeded. I am seeing seller absorption. Risk is 7394 fails. The freight train is headed for 7357. I'm taking this fucking short, dude. We're failing this opening range low. And we got... Yeah, if we can't... I'm going to put a stop here. Just 1 point above the psych level. Just have some skin in the game here. Because I see absorption happening of buyers potentially. There was absorbed buyers here. We're at the opening range low. Looks like NQ is failing this opening range low. I took a starter short at 7396 with a stop at 7401 with the idea that we're going to fail the opening range low and continue lower. I see absorption right now happening on the 20 tick range footprint bar, and I see absorption of 284 at the opening range low at the 1000 volume bar at 8:45 mountain time. So I see some order flow detail indicating we have a potential move to the downside. I only have one contract, so it's really minimal. I might get stopped out here before you even look at this. Yeah, that was stopped out. So it looks like we're recovering that. Open range low, but I'm curious to get your read on this because this still feels pretty weak in my opinion. Still green in the day, but I'm taking little nibbles here and there. If this is a real reversal, it will hold 7398 on a back test. Okay, it's not holding that. If your weakness read is right, we will fail. Question for you. We mentioned journal issues. I don't trade 1 minute range. How is that a middle ground trap? We've like middle ground where, well, it's well beyond the point of control, right? Like we're nowhere near middle ground right now. It's this might have been. I see some selling imbalance here. We have we have seller absorption up there. I might have just wasted time arguing with Joy here. I'm gonna do one more time here. Stop. We have seller absorption up here at 279. We are failing the opening range low. Again, just taking nibbles on this. Okay. Look at 30-minute. Got a node being formed down here. We got kind of a bimodal node here, right? Oh, no supply zone here. Shoot. It's at 7475. I'm right below that supply zone. I'm going to hit this at 6. Which is like a 10-point stop. That's a little much for me, actually. I should probably move this back down. Okay, I'm just going to stop. This is... Now, if I get stopped out of here, I'm going to be done playing this level here. I probably want to go short on a supply zone. Did have absorbed buyers here in the last one. NQ is above that opening range low, which could be putting some pressure. Oh, we got some large, what is this here? Large seller participation all of a sudden. 858 seller delta at 7401. If they clear that amount, yep. Something happened there. See the velocity uptake here all of a sudden? Like seller stepped in here all of a sudden. Look at this. It's cumulative delta being pushed in here. Holy cow. My man, what is going on here with cumulative delta? It is just pushing down, 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 down. Somebody is really not liking this up here. Sellers are still stepping in here. Holy hell. We're at the point of control right now on the developing in supply. Man, I'm tempted to take this short again with all this strong selling here. Massive selling here. We are negative on 5 and 15 minute all of a sudden. Some really aggressive. I don't know if yeah, it's somebody's just getting a lot of market orders and sells. They made yellow dots here. This is massive volume here of sell. What is going on? Look at this. We have like P shape of sellers at top here. We had a spike of buying imbalance here that ran things up with a 1300 seller delta and 92 delta on the. That's 192 probably. What is this here? I got this too close. I can't see the whole thing here. 250. The numbers. There you go. Yeah, look at this. Almost a 900 seller delta, 700 seller delta, 700 seller delta on the volume profile. I'm going to take this with a stop at 74,010 above point of control. I mean, that looks like somebody is not effing around here. 5.25 risk when the ATR is almost 10 points on the 3 minute. I'm just expecting whatever seller has been stepping in here. They might be trying to keep this below the point of control. We'll see. Typically don't like entering at the point of control, but given we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, there's got to be like 10 different signals here for going short here. Well, there's aggressive shorting step in here, not to go short, but that there are aggressive sellers here. That's a difference, right? Look at this Q and Delta. It's just like absolutely somebody stepped in here right at 7,400 and it's just put a bunch of market order sells. It is red here. I see like lower probability for a move to the downside, but given that the ATR is now 30% on the full day above the normal ATR, like how much lower can it go here? But we see that NQ is failing the previous low day. So that's not a good look. And you see another failure of the opening range low. We broke it once and we claimed it. And that's probably going to be the test, right? We got zero print to the downside here, down at 7393. More selling here. Look at this. We got seller absorption. So there's some passive buyer that's scooping this up. Failing 7,400. See this low day is 74.09 from June 29th. I got, I guess, 1 point above, which really, obviously, ATR being almost 10 points. That's like a a paper lock here. I'm gonna let this be here. Just gonna see what happens if we get back up here again. We got some strong buying here. Don't see the same sellers stepping in yet. That was whacking things down previously. But usually if we have a delta here on the volume profile, it means there's some intention there. If we fail this area here again, I might be inclined to add on to this. Okay, 90 minutes into the session. It's like NQ might be recovering the previous low day. And look at all this, like super strong selling. 1,000 seller absorption. We got seller imbalance here, seller imbalance. Try to add onto this at 7401. Oh, well, I got filled anyways. Move this down here. Seller imbalance here at 7405, where we see this delta of 928 sellers. Like, there's part of me is like, it feels very irrational to go short after we had a 100 plus ATR already. We're clearing that though. Okay, I don't see that seller stepping here again. I might pull this out and just we're holding the opening range low right now. And I see that NQ might be holding that previous low day. If we get above this level here, this 629 at 7409, getting above POC. Might be making some higher highs here potentially. Been doing that for a little while here on the shorter time frame. Should we clear POC and close above? They have an actual higher high here coming into supply. Actually, it's after open for 90 minutes. I might actually close it down here for today. I got work to do, so I will end it here. Stay safe, everybody. I will not be here for FOMC, so I hope everybody stays safe, manage their risk, and we will see you tomorrow.